back to the final part in this series of creating my supernatural canvas. This one is Sam. As I showed you earlier, this is the one I did for Dean. And it's going to be basically the same thing. Now, it doesn't always turn out exactly the same. I try and get it as close as I can, but there will be differences between them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the Antique Metallic Copper by Folk Art. And we will do this with a dry brush, and in this case less means more. And we're just going to lightly put some color down. We can always go back and add more if we need to. Right now, just a light touch, see what it gets us, and then we'll go back and hit high points here and there. This is all about helping to bring out the textures that we have added. So we need to try and hit on every little bit of the texture that we can, so that they will be, but you can see them within the overall piece when it's finished. I think this is the fun part, because this is what really brings the piece to life, is adding all this to it. I did go ahead and gesso it all over, and I didn't do that on tape because that's just basically gessoing. Nothing, I mean, gessoing is gessoing, it's just putting the gesso down. And then I did put my final layer of my supernatural symbol in there and gessoed it. I did have to let it set overnight because I had so many pieces on this one. I think I had a lot more elements on this one than I did on the Dean one, which is fine. I mean, not every one has to be the same. And so I let it set overnight, and when I came back to revisit it, there was a lot of spots I had missed with the gesso. So it was good that I took the break and let it set. So I did touch those up this morning. Got those taken care of so that I could get the color added to it. Now, when you're using the color and putting the colors down, it's all personal preference. You stop when you feel you need to stop with a color. I tend to put them in layers. I will put it on the copper, then I will go with the other colors, and then sometimes I will come back in with the copper, sometimes I won't, to tone down a certain color. And sometimes I'll use the colors to tone down the copper in places. So, I mean, and you can use copper or you can use bronze. I've used bronze in some of my steampunk. But I bought this copper and thought that I would try it, and I'm really liking it as well. So, I'll probably go back and forth between them, which is fine. Again, artistic license. And see how it does. You know, not every piece is going to be a copper piece. Not every piece is going to lend itself to a bronze piece. But I did start these in the bronze, so I wanted to continue it just to have that continuity. I am planning on selling these pieces, so if someone were to buy all three, which I don't think they would, but they may, I want them to have a similarity to them, so they won't look out of place with each other. Okay, so there's our, I got it upside down. There's our bronze on. Okay, so now we're going to try and give it a little bit of a rusty appearance, like with some patina and stuff. So I'm going to put down some orange. I've got this, what color is this? Burnt orange, because I don't have anything like an umber or terracotta. I work with the burnt orange. I work with what I've got and try and make it work. So now we're going to put some of that down. And again, you want to start with a very dry brush, as dry as you can get it. And just a little bit on the brush. You don't want to go overboard with it. And just start hitting your points. Some points I hit heavier than others. Some places I don't hit at all. Just again, you'll know. You'll know what works for you. These are about as individual as the person who makes them. Not everybody does them the same. So, don't think you have to do it like me or anyone else. That's not what this is about. See, when I go back over it, the difference that it has in the look. I hope I'm staying in frame. I'm real bad about not staying in frame. I don't worry about if I get it heavier in one spot than the other, like I did here. Not a biggie. If I'm worried about that, I can always go back and work my copper back in. Well, my copper on this one. Work it back into it and take care of that. But I really don't consider it a problem. Okay, so there's that, the orange. Now let's work in some patina. And then I also worked a little bit of amethyst into the last one with Dean. So I might try and do that again with this one. Okay. I'm using a smaller brush as I go because I'm wanting to work them into in smaller increments. See where I got a little bit heavy-handed there? I'll have to go back over that a little bit. But that's okay. Layers just add more and more appeal to it. You can layer it as much as you have to or want to. I'm trying to emphasize his name here. Let's see, I need to tone that down up there a little bit and redo it. My squeaky chair. Trying to get as similar to this one as I can as far as colors. Let's see. Try and put my amethyst on and see if that kindly helps it some. I just kindly hit it here and there with that. Just enough to make it look a little bit different, but not too much. Especially on the name. It really pulled the name out once I went over it with the copper again. I think I'm going to call that one done as far as the paints. I'm still waiting for my picture to dry where I put some sealer over it. Sam. It's still not dry. I just put it on there a little while ago. He's going to set there. And then that will be it. And I will come back once I get him put on there. And I won't come back. I'll put pictures at the end once that's completely finished with him on there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really liked how this one turned out. Like I said, I might not have more on it, just the way I've placed it. I've got more corrugated board, I know that, corrugated fibers. But otherwise, I like the way it turned out. I really do. So the next one I'm planning to do is one for Cass, so stay tuned for that one. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to do one for Crowley or not yet, so. But I do need to do one for Cass. So that's the end of that one. That's that one. Like I said, I will put pictures at the end of the completed piece with Sam's picture on it. Until the next time, bye now.